5 seconds. All right, get ready to nail it. We talked to Dr. Shepard. Beautiful.
Changing of the brands. A cop is charged in Atlanta. Rich shaming, and we'll talk VISD reopening plans. All that and more coming up in today's Wade and Carter Show. Not bad, not bad. Put those on.
I'll play radio.
Hey, good morning. Why don't you put those on and let's play some radio this morning?
Hello. Is this on? Is it on?
You know, you're not tapping it. Then that's.
I'm
That's
Igor
what it's on.
Sparkman. I'm here to talk to you today
Why'd you go like German?
because I'm Olga. This is my sister Indra.
Oh, Lord. Let's do this.
I don't know, 73 degrees
I
in
don't
Victoria
either.
right now. I like Ingrid. 73
too.
degrees in Victoria right now, heading to a high of 91. There's no bad publicity. She'll take that. She'll be like, yes, I got mentioned on Wade and Carter. Yes. 73 going to 91 under mostly sunny skies. Going to be little spotty clouds this afternoon. A little slight chance of rain.
Slight chance of rain.
Just a cute little chance of rain. We don't need to change it. We can still call it sunny Victoria, even though there's a little rain.
Yeah, a lot of brand names could be
A lot of
changing.
things are changing because
And Jemima, and I'll just give you Canadian perspective, and I've learned a little bit. I mean,
so that means he's going to think like an American and talk real slow and say sorry a lot. Go ahead.
well, you gotta dumb it down for you Americans.
Uh-huh.
You know. Yeah. A couple Texans went into Canada, used the old I'm just going to Alaska loophole to get through,
Right?
and they decided to circumvent the 14-day quarantine that's mandatory and started just traipsing across the country.
Did they really
Yeah.
get caught?
Oh, yeah.
They get in trouble?
Deported,
Were they sick?
permanently banned. No, but they went into areas that have had no cases for like weeks, no new cases.
Right.
So now there's concern.
We've had a few new cases here in town. We're still at 227. We're at 227. in the
Yeah, I don't think
county.
that's still. I think that's
Yeah, that's
now.
real. 227 cases. 8 people have died. For those families, I mean, 8 people. Eight people. I wonder how many other people have died in the county during this period. A lot. It is what it is. And it'll hit you at some point. Somebody you'll probably get it at some point. And
Probably.
you'll survive or not. It is what it is.
So
Better be ready.
Quaker Oats comes out and says they're going to get rid of Aunt Jemima, rechange it.
Stupid thing.
I wish they'd fix the syrup personally. It's not the
Derek
greatest.
Jeter syrup. I mean, what? It's I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Well, that one. Looking at the history of it, and yeah, I could see it. But
Do you really?
Yeah.
I
But
don't
here's
get
the
it.
thing: couldn't you change the story
I don't
rather
think you
than a
have
brand
to.
that's had over? I mean, 100+ years is recognizable. I didn't view it. I didn't know the history of it until I just.
This is not Oprah Winfrey in Roots. This is not Oprah Winfrey playing off the stereotype of being a slave and talking that way and acting that way. This is Nancy Green, who was a slave, given an opportunity by a major corporation to be
It wasn't a major
spokesmodel.
corporation at the time.
Well, she built a brand. I mean, let's give her credit where credit is due. She was a slave cook. She was a spokesmodel. She was an overcomer. She was an achiever. Folks, she worked. She was a Black woman in America who at one time was a slave and became a very well paid,
It wasn't that long.
very well paid, very well known, and somebody who was a missionary, who funded churches out of her income from Quaker Oats, who spoke all over the country on behalf of Quaker Oats and Aunt Jemima syrup. Was it a stereotype? I don't know. She was that person. It's not a stereotype to be promoted as a slave when you were a slave. And she died in 1923, and we're talking about only 50 years after slavery ended.
But they didn't find, but she didn't, it wasn't her syrup.
Let's erase her. You have a positive role model, a Christian woman who funded churches, somebody who held a job in corporate America as a black person in the early 1900s, and somebody who was a slave who had celebrity status. Let's be sure we wipe them off, get them out of there, because we can only promote victimism. So get that hardworking achiever, outspoken Christian missionary, get her out of there. Let's get rid of Aunt Jemima because somebody in modern day America is offended on her behalf. They act like they put her in a little cage and took her around. She was in a kennel and they put her on and look at the slave. That's not what this was all about. She was treated with respect. She was a respectful figure. And to be honest, I don't care because I agree with you. Log cabin is better. I don't care. But the fact is, I don't care. I'm not outraged on the behalf of other people. I don't care on behalf of normal, sane people. Who cares? Call your syrup what you want. But you're a cop-out and you're a sellout. Why not defend your position? Are you saying by changing your brand, well, I guess we used to be racist, but now we're more woke. Yeah. We're more in tune now.
Well, that's the thing. That's the argument. It doesn't change the history, right?
Right. It's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. I mean, I don't know if it was a serious story or not. Honestly, I saw that a British protest group wants to tear down the Giza pyramids because they were built by slave labor, and they think it's a bad symbol for the world to see.
So the British want to tell the Egyptians what to do again.
Still. They're colonizing the Egyptians again.
Yeah. Mars says they're going to get rid of Uncle Tom as a brand of rice.
Uncle Ben's.
Or Uncle Ben, yeah.
Your Uncle Tom.
Yeah. Which, growing up in Canada, I just thought Uncle Ben was a guy who invented the rice that they packaged.
Right.
That was all. That's all I thought about.
I don't know any different right now. It's almost like you've got a duty to go and research all this stuff, because if you happen to like a Baby Ruth candy bar and somebody called it that for some reason you don't know, well, we need to change that. We need to change that to generic A candy bar.
Don't go buy Aunt Jemima syrup, because if you do, you're a racist.
Right. I'm gonna have to run out to HEB today and just hoard a bunch of it. Someday it'll be worth something.
Like
toilet paper,
like syrup. Mike Trout's rookie card.
Right, exactly.
There's only about 1 billion of them out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Folks, we're in a world gone mad. We're in a crazy, crazy world by anybody's standard. The idea, for example, I'm going to segue somewhat uncomfortably into our Atlanta situation. I don't care what color anybody is. I'm going to tell you, if you're in Victoria, Texas, and you fall asleep in a Wendy's drive-thru, and an officer comes up, taps on your window, gets you out of the car,
taps again,
finally wakes your drunk butt up.
Yeah, you didn't fall asleep. You passed out in a Wendy's drive-thru. Let's get the narrative correct from the start.
Right. And put the video on it. The officer gets you out of the car. You're kind of compliant. You're a little groggy. You're talking to the officer. You do your field sobriety test. You fail. You do a breathing test, and you blow well over 30, 40% over the legal limit. And then when they say, you know what, sir, we're going to have to take you downtown because you've been compliant. It's on the video. I've seen it. Try to put their hands behind their back, and all of a sudden you decide, I'm getting out of here. And you start knocking cops down, and you start resisting arrest, and you make the felony, you grab a taser from an officer and then you discharge it in his direction. Folks, in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of the law, you deserve to be shot.
I listened to that press conference yesterday, and I don't know how you charge the cop with murder based on the video that I broke down the other day on this show that I had seen.
But the problem that he's got, Ash, is when you charge him with murder in these politically charged times, if you're a juror and you find him not guilty, you might get killed.
Capital murder. He's facing the death penalty on this.
This is the dumbest thing ever. And I mean, it's incorrigible. We would have all said just a year ago, hey, comply and sue. Use the court system if you don't like it. They're just going to arrest you. They weren't beating him up. This ain't Rodney King. They were just trying to arrest a guy. They were just arresting him. Oh, and by the way, he did happen to be black. So there for sure it's murder.
Well, when has this ever been a narrative with a drunk driver? Apparently at some point he offered to walk over to his sister's. Who has ever been stopped for drunk driving and then given that option? I'll just walk home, officer. Okay, see ya.
Right.
Never. Right?
No, you just can't.
And they're saying that the cop, I read one analyst yesterday, well, the police should have used discretion and let him walk to his sisters who live nearby.
That's ridiculous.
Did they even verify that? I mean, that was the one thing in the video that I saw. You couldn't, I mean, was there any way to verify the story? Who says he's not going to go hide, would have gone hide around some bushes, waited for the cops to leave, jump back in his car and go.
Well,
that's why they get you off the street when you're drunk driving to begin with. So you don't become they're not going to give you that option. You already made a bad choice and decided to drive drunk. So drunk you passed out in a drive-through.
People off the streets don't get the right to make officer protocol. They have protocols. They follow them strictly. But you don't. He was in the act of committing a felony when he left with the officer's weapon.
Well, that part, yeah. But I mean, the whole thing.
That's it.
The DUI is probably a misdemeanor at some point.
BJ, just shoot him. I'm sorry, that guy's got to go. Yeah,
I get total numbers of deaths from all reasons in the county. Yeah. I listened to the press conference of Paul Howard, the district attorney from Fulton County yesterday. It was almost like he was trying the case. I don't know how you're going to find a jury pool in Fulton County that isn't tainted by his. That's what I'm saying. This case is bad from the get-go. I'd like an attorney who may have watched this or listened to it to chime in a little bit, because he was showing pictures. I mean, he was showing evidence that I would think you wouldn't present in something like that. That would be that you would wait to present until you're in front of a jury and the trial started. He was trying this officer yesterday in the press conference, in my opinion. And this is a guy who's already under fire. He's in a very heatedly contested runoff, and he's also being investigated for some behavior as the DA.
Yeah, it's
so he's trying to get the heat off him a little bit, but. That, to me, was a politically motivated charge.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. I've got a surprise for you here in about a minute and a half. Good morning, Marty Stockbauer. We'll get into all of you that are here and appreciate that. Allen's Rigger Service, folks, 578-6300. Allen's is your go-to tow-to. If you can't get to where you're going, if you've got a big rig, if you've got a U-Go, it doesn't matter. If it's on its side, Allen's got a crane. We've got a caller. We're going to get the caller to hang on for just a second. And as the caller hangs on for just a second, then we will get right there. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all part of the Hartman Communication empire. Reach out to them for all your needs: surveillance, surround sound, security systems, alarms, everything you need, fire suppression, fire detection. They do it all. Call us. We'll tell you what they do. Call them. If they don't have the answer, they'll send you to the right people. Veracruz Restaurant, today's a great day to follow up on Caldo Wednesday. Get in there today and have an enchilada plate. You'll be glad you did.
Enchilada Thursday.
It's perfect. Taco Thursday. For me. You have Taco Tuesday, Taco Thursday.
And you can also get it to go still, 576-6015. Those enchilada casseroles are still flying out the door.
Absolutely. Chesapeake Furniture Company, 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge, for 100 years. They're celebrating today. 50% off all furniture in the store. Still have bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding, all types of appliances, televisions. But get down to Chesapeake now and enjoy their furniture. So we have a call. I have a call.
Last thought, just to put this in your head, because 2 weeks ago, Paul Howard, the DA in Fulton County, in a statement that's out there on YouTube, and he called the taser a lethal weapon.
Right.
Yesterday, he said the taser was not a lethal weapon. So I guess it just depends what political situation he's in, so he can redefine what a taser is at any given moment.
It is interesting that law enforcement has tasers, rubber bullets, beanbags, tear gas, all of these things to try not to kill stupid people. And then every now and then stupid people do stupid things and they get shot and we have to blame law enforcement. I have no patience for that. I think that man in Atlanta, he forced his own fate. And unfortunately, I think he deserved to die. With that said, Mr. Compassion comes to your rescue. We're very pleased to welcome onto the air Dr. Quentin Shepard, the man that I lovingly call the smartest man in the room. It certainly applies.
Certainly is now.
Certainly applies in this trio. Welcome, sir, and how are you? Well, you've done a great job. You've done the best job I've ever seen of seeking community input, of seeking consensus with guidance. You come in and say, here's my vision. How do we get there? And I think that this is just another step in the right direction. And I applaud you for your efforts on that. I'm curious. I was visiting with my pastor, Mike Hurt, yesterday from Parkway, and he was saying, that what VISD does affects how we have, say, Wednesday night services. What do we do? How do we do this? How do we do that? And I'm not sure I totally understand how it would affect, but he just says, hey, what the schools do affects how we approach our school age children. Tell me, in the big picture, about the 4 days and this and that and the other. Just bring me up to speed a little bit. Right. Yes, sir. Right. Smartest guy in the room. See, smartest guy in the room.
James, we have a question from one of the listeners. James Kirst asked, with the closed schools, could some of those not be reopened to help facilitate that capacity? Okay, good. My brother's a teacher back in Calgary, and here's the plan that they're doing. High school kids will continue to learn remotely at home, and they're using those high schools now to spread kids out and accommodate the younger ones who they feel aren't old enough to stay home, obviously by themselves, and continue to learn. So I don't know if that is something that's been looked at.
You know, sure. But well, two quick thoughts. Two quick thoughts for you, Q. I remember being in a meeting with you where you talked about class size. You were talking about the elementary kids. 15. A lot of folks go, "Oh, that's great," because we don't have 25 kids in a classroom. I remember the numbers being that as you get down to 15, you're getting down close to the number where if there's 12 or fewer in a classroom, you see the interaction drop off and the learning actually goes down, as opposed to, I remember learning that from you, because we used to say, wow, wouldn't it be great if there were only 5 kids in a classroom? Not really. you need a dozen. You need a dozen to have the interaction that you need. So I think 15 is a great number. The second thing is just being a realist and somebody who's raised teenagers. Those freshman and sophomore kids, they're just not ready to be remotely schooled. And you're going to see in a single family environment, a single parent environment, or in an environment where both parents work, which is 90% of Victoria. I mean, you're going to see teenage pregnancies go up. You're going to see academic results go down. And I'm just being realistic across the board. Those kids need to be in school.
Various research studies, the kids are more successful in middle school and high school when they have the opportunity to participate in clubs, sports.
Yes, sir.
How can we structure, say, for instance, choir and band and clubs, all of those clubs for kids, so that they have reason to be socially interactive with their peers? We're looking at doing that before and after school.
And you can do that with your best and brightest because number one, they're going to be more focused and more interested in actually learning. And number two, my older kids have all gone through remote learning at Texas A&M University. This is not like University of Phoenix online. At Texas A&M, Kyle has classes long before COVID that were just remote. You just did it on your laptop. But I think the ISD could even help. I mean, from a money standpoint, I'm not convinced you couldn't provide devices, tablets, iPads, if you will, even laptops, cheaper than building buildings. And it might be the way of the future.
That does bring up a question. How do you address the technology or lack thereof for some students who may not have internet or good internet? For those that are going to have to,
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the taxpayers, and we just had a question from somebody saying they just got a robocall about a tax increase. And they're concerned that, at a time when COVID is hit and people are struggling financially, the VISD is looking for a tax increase. I haven't got the call, so I don't know. I'm going by what was posted there.
Well, I'll tell you this: as a taxpayer and as a parent and as a proponent of quality education, I know that those things weigh on you, and I know that you're working hard. I like the idea of saying, "Would you pay?" I'm just being philosophical here. Would you pay an extra dollar a week if you knew that 95 cents of it was going to go directly into teacher pay? My answer would be yes. At the same time, I'm the guy that says you can't just throw money at a problem, but I like the idea of specific association with funds. But I'm going to tell you something else. That's not why we had you on today. That's a conversation, and I know that's not something you can just gloss over in 3 minutes. So let's just table that, if you will. I was just excited to have you willing to come on and talk about the plans for the next school year. It doesn't take, as you know, Q, it doesn't take but a moment to incite everybody about taxes and yada, yada, yada. So what we'll do is we'll just table that. And I really appreciate you coming in to talk about the plans for the school. We'd love to have you on. I think that you would do well if you can come on to our show and talk about a TRE at some point, and you can sell our crowd. Then if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, brother. So we'd love to have you. And thank you so much for being available this morning on short notice.
And where can people go to provide some feedback on these proposals?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Thank you,
Quentin.
thank you for taking time. We'll talk to you soon. Okay,
Thanks.
buddy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, I just felt like if we're not careful,
Yeah, no,
and
we've got a busy show. We got
I'm
another
raising
guest
thoughts
standing
with
there.
Matt
We got
over there, and Matt, I'm with you on this deal. I was a huge anti the tax grab they made a couple of years ago. I get it. If we don't do it now, we can't ever do it. I get all that stuff, but that was a different topic. I didn't want to talk about that today. And what are your quick thoughts? We've got the Generals, man. The Skip is out there in the lobby, but
they're gonna have to change the name of Generals. I mean, geez, that's gotta offend somebody.
Generals. That implies.
I'm surprised Brazos
over someone.
I'm surprised Brazos Valley hasn't started a campaign.
The Generals,
knowing how much they hate the Generals
over someone. I don't understand. That's like making others subservient. They're practically the slave masters. Why don't we just call them the slave masters? We've got to change that name. Oh, they could be Oros Toros. That would be called like Golden
Bulls.
Yeah, like we're actually the guys with the Golden Bull. That's how we can tell you about SCT Building Systems.
Okay, so if I can help, give them a call.
564-8864. Reach out to Clayton for your next project. She shed, he shed. If you need a barn,
you shed.
Come on.
We all shed.
For she sheds. Reach out to them, 564-8864. The great folks at Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will come in and help you with your analytics. He'll be building a web presence, everything from social media to a website to encryption, studying your data, who's hitting your website, protecting your data. They do it all. If it involves your computer and the things you don't know, call JP.
You still won't know it when you're done, but he'll help you.
No, but
figure it out.
He has worked with several of our sponsors, by the way. The Ansonover dealership since 1926, Victoria's dealer, Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all gently pre-owned vehicles that are worth keeping. They keep them on their lot. The rest they ship off. They end up at other dealerships in town. The Ansonover family has been here since 1926.
They've been here before that, but they started the business in 1926.
They were farming before that. But if you get into it, they've got a paint and body shop. They service all makes and models. When you get over there and start peeling back the layers, it's endless because they've responded to Victoria's needs for almost 100 years. Get by. Somebody who hasn't been here 100 years but is responding to Victoria's needs, White Trash Services.
Yeah, BJ and Scott Nelson have built a nice little trash empire there.
550-1826. You know, some days when they're super busy, they bring the trucks in. Oh, just put it out there. So they've got a nice little pile going out there. They put a little dirt on it. It's like a huge compost. It's Mount Nelson.
Is that what it is?
It's on the back. It's on the southwest corner over there. Trying to keep the wind blowing it out towards Edner. Anyway, 550-1826. Reach out to them. The great folks at White Trash Services. They do a super job.
They do.
So BJ Nelson says, can we start drinking?
You sure can. You're the boss. Take the day off if you want, BJ. I'll give you permission.
What did she come in a while ago about? I mean, it's almost like, I'm joking, it's almost like, oh, taxation is theft. I mean, she's like I like it.
Fed up like a lot of property owners here.
Exactly. Hey, but White Trash Services is working for you and really looking soon to be the provider for Victoria.
550-1826. Give them a call.
Skip, come in here and
come on in, Michael.
We'll
get you on the Golden Toro mic.
That's it.
The Oros Toros mic.
And you know, remember the drill. You got and like nobody can see you, so it's okay to. He's a big guy, folks. So
yeah, like right in front of it.
Get down and talk right to you. You can. How are you, sir? Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm doing good.
Right into the front. Not like our mics where we're sideways. There you go.
So
you can hold that thing up. It ain't gonna make any noise.
It's right. You're not gonna hurt anything. Tell us this. First of all, what is the sign for stealing? And how do we know, like, what activates the sign? We need to know that in the stands.
Oh, man. Y'all are working for no one else. I don't want to give away the sign.
Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening.
I'll tell you what, most of the time, it's just a red light, green light system, you know.
If you think you can take it, right?
We love to take tags, and we learn a system, and they implement it and go.
We had back when Kyle, my middle son was
I see Casey Oros checking into the show.
Yeah.
Hi, Casey. When we would play select ball and stuff, and Mike Brown was one of our managers, and we had a kid that he just couldn't get the sign. I mean, he just didn't. He wouldn't look over at the third base coach. And at one point,
It
Brownie
was
said,
Kyle, right?
No, it wasn't Kyle. Brownie said, hey, on the next pitch, I want you to go to second. He yelled it across the field.
I have done that.
And it worked. I mean,
Did he steal second?
Sure, the other catcher was mush, and he should have already been on second. Tell us what the prospects are. Tell us about your season, what you're expecting, and then tell us, like, what we have an abbreviated season, your normal season, what we got going?
Well, this one's all sorts of fun this year, isn't it?
This is a loaded question. Obviously, with the pandemic, our season got pushed back. They cut it in half to 24 games, and then we had an expansion this year of additional 5 teams. So now we're pushed to 30 games in a little over 36 days, so we're not going to have much time off. So we normally field about 40 to 50 players the summer for a full season. Now you take half a season, you've got too many players for half a season. So we really had 2 options. Number one was just to call a few guys and say, hey, look, we don't have any room anymore. Or
you're not good enough.
Yeah,
don't bother coming.
I don't know anything about you, but you're not good enough.
You got cut.
Yeah, so we decided to implement a 2-week spring training, which we're doing this week and next week. And that spring training is going to be practices, inter-squad games, and then we have some outside competition come to play us, and then we will pick our best 30 to 35 off of that 40.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it should be great baseball. You're kind of creating an all-star team, as are other teams. I mean, you're having your best guys.
Yeah, I won't lie. I mean, we've been here all week. We've been practicing, and they are flying around, and it's fun to watch. I mean, it's baseball. Baseball's back. That's good enough. But these guys miss so much.
Yeah.
Some of these, we have seniors that are back that missed their last year that we're giving it back, so now they have an additional summer. And, when you lose something and then you get that back, I mean, they're just flying around.
That's awesome.
How rusty was everybody had not playing for 3 months?
The bats are pretty rusty.
Well, they're always the last thing to come around.
Yeah,
anyway, right?
It's just BP and some coaching simulated games. But I mean, I won't lie. We put some pictures out on the mound 2 days ago, and Zach Lee, Victoria native, was 91. I'm like, already. I expect you to not be there yet, but
he wasn't sitting around the last 3 months doing nothing.
You can tell these guys have been working.
Yeah,
he's a draftable kid. He's got a gun too. Yeah. BJ Nelson says the White Trash Services are the General's base stealing sponsor. She's looking forward to that. Says it's going to be epic.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's sad about the coaching too, but the base stealing, it's a great sponsorship because we're going to take a lot of bags.
That's awesome. Yeah, Zach Lee, I've known him a long time, and he's really got a big arm.
We were happy to get him. Obviously, the draft was shortened. I think he would have went if it was any longer than what it was.
Sure.
Obviously, the free agent process is not very lucrative to players. So he decided to go back, come to play with us over the summer.
He'll get a shot.
For sure.
There's a magic number.
Well, there's no place for these kids to go this year, right? No minor leagues.
No minor leagues.
What are you going to sign for?
A lot of them will be signing and then maybe go to their spring training site, put them up in their dorms, play some inter-squad games, things like that. But other than that, there's not much more you can do.
Unfortunately for baseball, who was already looking at changing up the minor league system, I think this pandemic is going to force changes that a lot of smaller communities were resistant to in minor league ball. A lot of the rookie ball, short season A, were worried they were going to lose franchises because that was the talk. And I hate to say it because I worked in those leagues. I think that might be a reality of what comes out of this. And it's sad.
I think you might see more independent baseball, and I think you might see more collegiate summer leagues because if those stadiums go vacant, they're going to fill them with something.
Well, and that leads into my next question, the expansion of the TCL. We have some of those vacant, dormant minor league teams that are now in the TCL this year.
Yeah, and we really benefited from it. The San Antonio Missions, the Round Rock Express.
Flying Chanclas to San Antonio, right?
Yeah, all that. Those stadiums don't have anything to do. And our TCL management did a good job of coming up with a deal with them. So we're going to be playing in some minor league stadiums, not against the minor league teams. They're going to field college rosters, but the same atmosphere, the same stadiums. I mean, it's going to be exciting stuff.
It's good for the kids.
For sure.
And some of those organizations are using the same coaching staff. Or members of.
Some of them, Tom Holliday, I just saw, is going to be coaching the Tulsa team, and they come down here to Riverside, so hopefully he'll be out there.
And isn't Calvin Schiraldi involved with the San Antonio team?
I'm not sure who's with San Antonio, but I know the UHB catcher,
Chase Almendarez, talked about that yesterday. He's with the Round Rock. He's going to be managing the Round Rock team. His brother, I think, plays shortstop for that team. So That'll be a nice little homecoming. Looking forward to catching up with him.
Talked to him the other day.
Did you see the league where the Skeeters and all that? Greg Swindell's coaching the Skeeters, and Kobe and Roger Clemens are coaching, and Pete Incaviglia is taking the team.
Yeah, Pete was the manager of the Skeeters originally,
Yep.
and obviously I think the Atlantic League is not going to play, so they came up with their own idea, which is great. I think they were a possibility of getting in with us, but they came up with their own plan. But yeah, there's another option.
When he was a college kid, of course, I was in Texas. Where'd he go? Was he Oklahoma State?
Who?
Incaviglia.
I
can remember seeing him in Austin, and then he could hit bombs. Put an aluminum bat in that kid's hand. It was just ridiculous.
How many teams in the league this year now?
So now we got 10. We got a North and South Division. The South Division will be pretty familiar with ourselves and Acadiana Canecutters, Brazos Valley Bombers, and then we add San Antonio and Round Rock.
Very cool.
So will you see the North Division teams, or will that be only in the playoffs?
Well, so each team has what they're calling a rival in the other division. So ours is Tulsa. So Tulsa will come to us.
Because that makes sense, because Victoria and Tulsa just hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave us the shortest trip, obviously. So that bus trip will be long, but it'll be a 3-game series up there. They'll come to us, but we won't see Frisco, Amarillo, or Texarkana this year unless playoffs.
How long is that? What, 13-hour bus ride somewhere in there?
Well, from what I Googled, it looked like 9. But
that's driving a car. Throw a couple more on a bus. So you're looking 11 hours.
Coach, I got to pee.
Ugh.
Coach,
Go to the back of the bus.
I'm out of Skittles, Coach.
that might be a league after the game trip, like the old MLB teams do.
Yep. Oh, man.
So tell us we have a game tonight.
We do.
Tell us about it.
We have an inter squad tonight. It's going to be generals versus generals. You said the Oros Toros or something like that. We're trying to figure out some names right now. It's red and white.
I like Oros Toros. That's good stuff.
No, we got to come up with something else.
So we're trying to figure that out. But like I said, we have enough guys for 2 teams. We're going to split them up. It's going to be as game-like as possible. It's open to the public for free. We'll have beer, concessions, everything open. And the only difference is you might see, I think, 11 innings, 10 innings, depending on how our pitchers look, versus just a traditional 9-inning game.
So drink accordingly. Don't go out there thinking you're going to shut it off at 7, and don't just pace yourself. People.
Yes, pace yourself.
You're optimistic when you Uber to the ballpark. That's something's up.
You're planning ahead.
Oh, BJ Nelson says maybe I could road trip with the team. Can you imagine? I'm in the back playing 3-card monte with the kids, and there's the card. There's
losing all your money.
Where's the P, kid? Where's the P? Sit down, meat. It'd be that kind of deal, I take my guitar.
Yeah, someone will take it from you, fella.
Right?
Beat you over the head with it.
Sometimes they get dreary. It's weary. Bam! Start fighting on the bus. Be great.
Bus trips are
how's your family? Everybody good?
Everyone's good. I mean, we're playing baseball again,
We don't expect much.
How tough was the spring for you?
I'm at the high school level. In the springtime, I told our team, I said, I'll never forget where I was when I got the call about it. And one of the messages I've been sending is, did you know that was going to be your last practice? Did you know that was going to be your last game? And we always say all the time, you never know when it's going to end. And I can guarantee you, nobody thought it was going to end in the middle of their season.
No,
so,
right.
It's kind of that motivation to get going again. But, we're excited to be back. We're one of the only leagues in the nation playing. There are a few other ones, but we're hopefully using this opportunity to capitalize not only on the baseball side of things, but showing people hopefully that you can go back safely.
And the kids won't need much motivation when they come back, or they shouldn't. The winners won't need much motivation. It's kind of like if you need to be pumped up to play in the Super Bowl where you've been, but it will be a coachable moment for you to tell a kid, you need to practice like this is the last one, because remember when it was.
Right.
Yeah. You need to work.
Cody Sugar has a couple names for you instead of red and white. Red coats, blue coats.
And they also, Zach Smith asked about other games and like a preseason schedule. Just if you have some forward thinking, like we'll be here on Tuesday of next week or whatever.
Right. So inter squads today. Tomorrow we'll just have a practice, and then this weekend we have a collegiate team out of San Antonio that's going to come play us, and that'll get us some outside competition. Obviously, get everyone on the same team, see how we mesh. And we'll play them on Saturday and Sunday
of this weekend.
Father's Day, Sunday. Obviously, bring your dad out, and enjoy some baseball. That's all good.
You got any times?
Those games are at 7:00.
Okay.
And then next week we'll have another inter squad, and we have a team out of Houston named Kyle Chapman coming in to play us on Wednesday and Saturday at 6. Moving it up a little bit so they can get back home. And that team is going to be seniors going into freshmen in college. So high school guys, but they have some very prominent names. A guy that was going to get drafted that obviously with the 5 rounds decided to go to, I think UT is his school. So hopefully he comes down. There'll be some good competition. Yeah, I think he's a two-way guy.
Really?
So some good guys coming in, some good competition, and baseball, America's baseball, America's pastimes back.
Cowboys, Texans tonight.
As long as I'm the Texans.
Well, you're the skip. You can make that call.
Plus,
Flames, Oilers. There you go.
You got to get the
bring hockey back, because then my wife might convince me that's the way to get my hair cut.
You got to get the announcer back in the booth and see if he can loosen it up and make something happen.
There's a first for everyone, right?
Right.
They have their first time.
Baseball 1 versus baseball 2.
There you go.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we want you to come at will, check in with us, give us updates. 30 games in 36 days. You're not going to have a lot of off time, but if you've got time to come by and tell us what's going on,
he's going to want to be up at 7:30 to come in and talk to us.
Yeah, I need that remote calling.
Right?
You're not at that status level yet.
Yeah. No. When it's Dr. Oros, we'll talk about that. Until it's Dr. Oros.
Or Lieutenant Colonel, like yesterday. Then.
I mean, we've had a big week. We had the judge in, then we had the lieutenant colonel, then we had the school superintendent, and then we had the skip. I mean, we've gone to the top. We've gone to the top of the mountain.
Now we got the brother.
Yeah, brother man's going to come in. You got anything else? Tell us.
Hope to see y'all out there tonight.
Absolutely. 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Folks, go out. It's free. Go out. It's Thursday night, date night. Take your bride. It's free. You can have a cold beer on the deck out there and enjoy baseball. The weather's been nice. The evenings have been nice.
They haven't been that humid.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's been good.
So
get out there, enjoy it, social distance.
Do it. Adam Sugar Chicks is y'all still on the stickball.
Yes, we
have a small, very demented part of our audience that just doesn't like baseball. I mean, it's not like they don't like sports. They love sports. They
football.
Just actually don't like baseball. It's very odd people.
Give us a chance.
Ryan, come on out. It's good kids for a good cause. Come on out. So thank you.
Hey, thank y'all.
We'll see you tonight, man.
We appreciate it. We'll see you tonight. Good job.
Michael Oro, skipper of the Victoria Generals, stopping by. We appreciate it.
Next.
We'll see you tonight. So as we make the changes, let's go into our final break of the day. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. Get on by today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday.
They're open 7 days a week because the demand is just there for brisket, ribs, sausage, turkey, chicken. You can go in and get half a chicken a la carte, take it home, and you just pull the drumstick right out. Just pull it right out.
Fall off the bone table.
It is so good.
Like the ribs.
And Jonathan has outsourced the only turkey breast that he will smoke. And when he cuts it, it's never dry. The worst thing about white meat is it gets so dry. Not his turkey, because he does it just right.
Yep.
All the side dishes, get it all to go. Drive through and go in there and buy 3 pounds of brisket. They have financing available, and then you can save it for the weekend. Do it. Gray Barn Design. Call Cheryl for your next event. She'll make it memorable.
920-6803.
Cheryl's the best. And on top of that, I'll tell you, as somebody who is and has become a very good friend of hers, if you involve Cheryl in your program, you'll end up making a friend out of the deal. You'll be glad. You'll want her at the event. So 920-6803, reach out to Cheryl, and she'll make Gray Barn Design a part of your future plans. Went Services, Went Electrical, Went Plumbing, Went Services can help you with a generator right now, storm season. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. And at the same time, go ahead and be proactive.
Don't wait any longer, because if you still haven't got your generator, you've waited.
That's right. Get you a solar panel set up that feeds electricity back to a battery backup from Generac. They've got Generac, Kohler, Cummins, Briggs & Stratton, all types of generators. But reach out to Wind Services today. Get a quote. They'll help you with maybe you say, well, I just want to run my AC and my refrigerator. If a storm comes, I'm not worried about the TV and all that. From whole house generators to specific needs, they can meet your needs at Went Services. We're joined at this time, as always on Thursdays,
by the one,
by the king,
the only,
the man.
I don't know about that.
You are the man. Brother Gary Moses, our friend, mentor, Mr. Victoria. Not little Mr. Victoria, Mr. Victoria.
Thank you.
not Junior Mr. Victoria.
Right? He's the man.
Thank
How are you?
Brent? Very good.
Man, if you were any sharper, you'd cut yourself.
I have to stay that way. I got to keep on going.
That's a new tie from Melvin's right there. Did you
That's
see that?
Melvin's right there.
It's he wears them once. It's part of his
Yeah.
contract.
I want you to know, good interview with Dr. Shepard. I love him, man. We're good friends.
He's cute as he's
cute.
we're not joking. We say he's the smartest guy in the room, and I think when people get the opportunity to listen to him speak, you start realizing that he's not just winging it. Oh, what if we just went 4 days this way? He knows exactly what he's
He
doing.
knows his stuff. That was a great interview, and really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Michael Orris, of course. I've been talking to him. The generals, we house the generals at the Helplex. You know, they've got access to the Helplex. So I've been seeing the generals come in. Mike is assistant coach. So I'm looking forward to that. We knew about tonight. So that's great. You know,
Brother Gary will be out there.
I'm coming by the Navy Museum first. We have our first exhibit back from the pandemic at the Navy. I'm doing that. And then we're going to head over there for some.
What is the exhibit?
The exhibit is the paintings of Austin's Navy.
Paintings of the coronavirus?
Yeah, no. These were done sometime in the day,
Right.
way back when. Roasted Nave, and they'll have.
Hey, is it the namesake of the museum? So I did not know that I didn't know where the nave came
Roasted
from.
Nave was the man's name. Permanent collection of the Nave Museum right there.
I did not know that. Was he a local guy? Was he a
I
Victoria
believe he
guy?
was. That was
So they
really
pulled
cool.
it out of the basement and dusted it off.
They
And
had it. Actually, they
Yeah.
had it right there. So that's a
well, it's
good-
COVID. You're not getting anybody to bring some stuff in, so you might as well dust off the
Just
old stuff.
dusted out of the attic there.
I want to mention that one and another one before I got.
Any paintings we might recognize in that collection? Do you know?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. I thought maybe you had.
It's a beautiful facility. I've only, honestly, sadly, shame on me. I've been there like
Remember
twice.
the old library? We walked in there, you didn't say a word. You barely breathe.
Right.
You know, that was the old days.
Right.
Great place. We thought it was.
Still can't talk in a library, brother.
The Navy Museum.
That's why Brother Gene,
They're talking in there.
Brother Gene and I don't go to no library. We can't talk. Right? And just
I do want to mention the benefit for barbecue for the Alzheimer's Association in Goliad Saturday. Jay's Cook Shack, and that's 547 East Pearl Street. We're raising money, of course, for the walk-in Alzheimer's.
so just take your loved ones over there. If they make it home, they're okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Drop them off and see if they come back.
That's right. That's right.
Of course, don't forget.
If she does, totally.
7 trade days, 9 to 3 Sundown Ranch Farmers Market, Patty Johnson, from 9 to 1. We're giving you a few things to do here.
Well, there's always something to do in Big V,
Yeah, oh yeah.
but that is not it.
If Dawn takes you to Goliad and drops you off and you make it back, she didn't drive you far enough.
Right? We need to know, is there anything going on the sports front?
I listened to what he said yesterday, and I got a little something for y'all. NHL playoff odds. Who do you think would be the team that was playing up till when they stopped would be favored to win the NHL championship this year?
The Lakers.
They are favored for the NBA.
Okay.
We don't care about the
I
NBA.
jumped ahead of the bit.
The team that was playing, they're just a
The
slight
New York
favorite over the
Rangers.
second and third place.
No, it ain't the New York Rangers. They're down a ways. I'm going to think
Nashville
maybe
team.
Vegas.
Vegas was number 2.
Okay.
And
Nashville.
Boston?
They're 120. You put up 100, you win 120. Vegas Golden Knights was second. The first team,
Boston?
Boston, right there. Well, you got it. He's on top.
I couldn't remember which way that went.
Boston Bruins are 100 to 110, like a slight. You
Yeah.
get a little bit extra. They don't
Hardly worth your time.
Right. So Boston's.
Where are my Calgary Flames? Did you notice them?
Flames.
I think they were like 3,000
They
to
didn't make
1.
the playoff, did they?
Yeah.
Number 12,
Middle of the pack.
plus 3,000. You put up 500, you win 3,000.
Put up 100, you win 3,000, wouldn't you?
100 to win 500. 3,000 plus 3,000. They're talking about 500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come on.
They're talking about 5. And Calgary is 12.
Gary didn't mess around.
Where's
with that.
Tampa Bay? I got somebody asking where Tampa
Tampa
is.
Bay's number 3.
All right.
Tampa Bay's number 3 plus 650. If you put up 5, you get 650.
You got to put up a nickel to get in that game.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, that's what they were facing. I had to figure it out what they were facing. But
I don't know how you did that. You were a history guy. I didn't know you were a
I
bookie.
have to, buddy.
Didn't know it.
What he asked for, we got it for him, right?
He's like, hey, after
Math
the show,
too.
Brother Gary's like, Ash, you want some action on that? I know a guy. I can tell
His math education was hallways and dice.
Not really,
Can you,
boy.
can you imagine Patty Welder back in the mid '70s and Brother G's pitching pennies with the kids? And give me that quarter, kid. Give me your lunch money.
Your
Throw-
Dallas Stars.
Throwing your
number
trading
8.
cards.
Your Dallas Stars, number 8.
And
plus
Madonna.
1,500. Yeah.
He's lost
And
his
the last
stats.
one,
And
the
some
last
hair.
one, if you would have picked Vancouver, you can make some money. Plus 5,000 right there.
Wow.
Really? I thought Chicago was the
Well,
worst of the
I
bunch.
just picked some of those
Okay.
teams right there. Chicago's probably down.
Some people they'll bet on them because
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
there's
they want the
such a
long
chance.
shot. Yep.
It's a
You're
long
saying there's a
shot.
chance.
Well, they did that with St. Louis, didn't they? It was a long shot. And they
Yes,
got
sir. Yes,
St.
sir.
Louis is ranked 5th.
Yeah,
That.
yeah.
Washington 4th. So there's your little bit of hockey.
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome, sir.
Bring us up to speed. How are you feeling? How's
I'm
everybody?
good. I'm good.
And right now, hockey's slated to be back August 1. They're going to start playing. July 10th is the training camps open.
You got
Ash
that.
doesn't really care about how you are. He just wants to talk hockey.
I don't understand the money part, but we ain't gonna put no money up. But I can tell you, we'll learn it. He knows his hockey.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I mean, I'm asking about your family. We're trying to show some, and he's like,
Oh, I
I
care about your family and your family. You got
Yeah.
wonderful families.
mean, it's
Gotta
as
finish the
if
thought.
you and I are talking about your family and how things are, and Ash goes, "Did you know that ethanol eats up the valves of your lawnmower?"
No, hockey. We talk
Yeah.
about what he likes. Right there.
He needs a
and
haircut.
Milwaukee are your
August
two
1.
immediate favorites right there. I got something. You'll like this. The last part. LA Lakers, of course, Milwaukee were the favorites for them.
We're the Toronto Crafters.
Toronto Crafters are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Can I give you one? And I'm going to throw this out there, and we have not discussed this, and I want you to feel free to change my mind because I have no idea where you stand on this. Even with all we know about Michael Jordan, even with all the things that we've heard about Michael Jordan and how he was a tyrant and tyrannical and hard to play with, there's something about Michael, his persona on the court and all that I can't help but adore him. I like him.
I like him too.
I love-
I got one.
But I can't, in the exact, I guess, obverse. It doesn't matter what he does, what he says, I just can't I cannot become endeared to LeBron James. I just don't like
Michael
the guy.
Jordan, you can bring him in. LeBron,
What is it? Am I wrong?
I'm not. He's not my favorite.
He's a great athlete, great player, but it's like there's nothing about him.
I experienced LeBron his rookie year and saw him diss some kids waiting for his autograph, and that turned me off on LeBron James.
Once you see that, it's hard to pull him back in.
I saw it in person.
Example, I can give you 2 examples or an example and a parallel. I would love to visit with Michael Jordan just about life. I don't care anything at all. I have no desire to go visit with LeBron James. Exact same thing. I'd love to sit down and visit with Bill Clinton. Our politics don't align, although Bill Clinton's more presidential than anybody we've got around right now. I like Bill Clinton to visit with. I wouldn't go across the street to visit with Al Gore. And they served together. They got the same memories. In fact, Al's are probably more honest. I wouldn't talk to Al Gore if he came to Victoria.
More honest. The guy that invented the internet.
He
More
did.
honest.
He
I'm a
did it
Michael
with
Jordan fan too.
Sure, me too.
I agree with you. All right, listen to this one. Right below the NBA, how they were favored. Michael Jordan's net worth. They gave 3 of the Bulls from that series. You know what his net worth is as of 2020? Michael Jordan.
I remember this number. It's big.
$2.1 billion. Michael Jordan worth.
He sold a lot of shoes
Yeah, he
made
did.
by slave labor in Indonesia. Adam Sugar says ethanol is bad for your mower. Thank you,
Adam
Adam.
Sugar is one smart young man.
He
That's a
is.
smart boy. And Scottie Pippen, he's worth 30 to 50 million. And he was under
He was
Hey.
broke for a while back.
Yeah.
He's got some
Yeah.
money now.
30 to 50. And your boy Dennis Rodman, they threw this in. I like Dennis
I like Dennis Rodman
I
too.
do too. I thought it was great. He made total in NBA at the time when all of his salaries added up. He made $27 million in total salary. His net worth is only $500,000. So
Right.
he's gone through his pretty good. He spends his
Costs a lot of money for that ink.
Tattoos and Madonna.
$500,000 he's worth.
Tattoos and Madonna. That'll do it.
There
Exactly.
you go, boys.
Listen,
Always a pleasure with you.
Hey, there is word Major League Baseball could return. It looks like the players and the owners last night late. I saw that they were close to an agreement. I don't know. I didn't see anything this morning.
He was going back
but-
a little bit to commission.
They were saying that they were close, so that's optimistic for the
We
MLB.
got our fingers crossed.
Lisa Poole said I'd lost my mind. I
Yeah.
don't know what the point was, but
Because you want to sit down and talk with Bill Clinton, probably.
She's probably right.
We love Lisa too, a long time friend.
We're out here,
She's-
folks.
You hear, Brother Gary? We love Lisa.